Coming up on WUFT Midday, the Trump administration under fire. Lawmakers and citizens speaking up against some of the president's recent proposals.
Plus, egg prices continue to soar across the country, why experts say don't expect a change anytime soon.
And it'll cost a little less to get into the Super Bowl this year, why economists say the prices are declining just days before the big game.
WUFT Midday.
The White House is walking back President Trump's statement that the U.S. will take over the Gaza Strip. Also under fire, the Trump administration's plan to cut federal aid and the federal workforce. This is WUFT Midday. I'm Avlonitis.
And I'm Carle. And as Alice Barr reports, around the country, Americans are taking to the streets to protest what's happening in Washington.
Fighting back against.
From the Senate floor.
We need to be furious. We need to be alarmed.
To the streets. Protest to President Trump's policies is growing louder. And now, in response to a lawsuit over federal privacy laws, the administration is agreeing to some guardrails on Elon Musk's power, temporarily blocking staffers with his cost-cutting Department of Government efficiency from accessing Treasury payment systems. Musk's team is working to shrink the federal workforce, offering widespread buyouts. The National Security Agency, the latest joining the list overnight. Democrats warning of risks.
For the people who are taking potentially Trump's illegal buyout offer, which there is no funding for at all, to think twice.
Republicans defending Musk's work.
I call it stewardship. I think they're doing right by the American taxpayer.
Meanwhile, less than a day after the administration started walking back parts of President Trump's controversial comments on the U.S. taking ownership of the Gaza Strip and not ruling out sending U.S. troops.
Everybody loves it, but this is just not the right time. But we'll maybe do something later.
The president this morning on social media saying Gaza would be turned over to the United States by Israel at the conclusion of fighting, with Palestinians resettled in safer communities and no U.S. soldiers needed. Arab countries, the president wants to take in displaced Palestinians, and lawmakers in both parties pushed back on his proposed redevelopment of the war-ravaged territory. The White House clarified the U.S. would not pay to redevelop Gaza. In Washington, Alice Barr, NBC News.
Bird flu continues to drive up the price of eggs, and now a new strain of the disease has been found in dairy cows. Bird flu infections have led to more than 13 million hens being slaughtered since December. The move to slow infections has disrupted the egg supply, leading to higher prices and empty shelves at grocery stores. The price of eggs continues to soar, with the average for a dozen now at more than $5. That's a 50% spike in just the last year. And experts say the price and shortage could last some time.
Certainly the likelihood is it's going to continue for a while. The key question is, how well are we going to be able to control the disease itself? That's not so clear.
People in the U.S. have contracted bird flu, most of them farm workers. Now, the U.S. Department of Agriculture reports a second strain of bird flu in dairy cattle. While there is no evidence bird flu can be spread to human, infectious disease experts urge you not to drink raw milk and make sure to get your flu shots.
About 200 workers at the Environmental Protection Agency are expecting to be put on paid leave. This comes after Trump administration officials labeled environmental justice programs as DEI initiatives. Many EPA workers disagree, stating that their programs are meant to ensure federal policies protect underserved communities from things like pollution and climate change. But EPA leaders state that they will implement the administration's orders and already shuttered its DEI office. The agency's Office of Environmental Justice and External Civil Rights has also been informed that they will be treated as a DEI division and are expected to be put on paid leave.
Age of 54. That's according to Def Jam Records. The label released a statement Wednesday. The extended Def Jam family are deeply saddened at the loss of Irv Gotti. Gotti founded hip-hop label Murder Incorporated and rose to prominence working with rap artists who went on to become major stars like Ashanti and Ja Rule. Gotti's cause of death was not provided in the statement.
The dense fog that we see at the start of the work week seems to be clearing out, but the heat is set to remain. Let's check in with UF forecaster Jadyn Bottini with a look at your lunch hour forecast.
That heat will be remaining for a while. It's looking beautiful on campus right now, 81 degrees with light winds around 10 miles per hour from the west. Taking a look at our temperatures, 79 in Gainesville, 77 in St. Augustine, 80 in Ocala, 77 in the Villages, and will warm up through this afternoon. Looking at our satellite, we're tracking a storm moving to the east, causing lots of precipitation and winter weather in the north, but no effects in our area right now, possibly some change in weather after Valentine's Day. Looking at this evening, 7 p.m., clear evening with some light wind, but patchy fog will be forming overnight. Coming up, we'll be looking at the fog forming, tracking our storms to the north, and a sunny and warm weekend ahead.
Amongst the topics on the agenda for today's City Council meeting is lawsuit as well as a new ordinance for Gainesville trash disposal. First up is the case of Precious Brown versus the City of Gainesville. On April 1st, 2023, Brown spent 6 hours in jail, accused of committing fraud at a local ATM. Her lawyer claims that the actual identity thief used the ATM shortly after Brown left the machine. Brown is now looking for $25,000 in compensation for GPD detectives failing to investigate fully. Separately, the City of Gainesville is looking for further compensation in solid waste collection fees. It would be a 20% increase in collection rates for a total estimate of $1 million a year in additional city revenue. The city is expected to adopt the proposal.
Marion County travelers have the chance to speak with leaders on the master plans for the Ocala International Airport. The airport master plan is a long-term strategy the city is developing to increase and improve infrastructure and economic development. The meeting will be open house style so attendants can drop in to ask questions and give their input. The meeting will be on the 19th from 5 to 7 p.m. at the Mary Sue Rich Community Center. Regional Transit System is cracking down on rider fraud with a new ID system. RTS and city leaders are giving riders until March 1st to comply. WUFT Alexis Vivanco spoke with city leaders about how this change will improve ridership.
The City of Gainesville is cracking down on their fare-free program, a service that provides free rides to passengers 65 and older and 18 and younger. The new policy, which requires program-eligible riders to carry ID cards, aims to help use a limited city budget.
We want to be able to be accountable for those funds, and that this program is being utilized in the manner in which it was intended.
The Regional Transit System introduced their fare-free program in 2021 and costed $230,000 annually. In the 3 fiscal years since launch, RTS recorded more than 1.6 million trips by eligible riders. However, fraud and budget constraints were cited as some of the biggest issues facing the program, affecting riders on their daily commute.
It's like a necessary improvement for the city, since, of course, cities need funding so it can keep being like a good city, you know?
The change will be enforced starting March 1st and has riders hopeful for the future.
That was Alexis Vivanco reporting. Fare-free riders can apply for a virtual card online on the RTS website or pick up a physical card at the RTS administrative headquarters.
The Florida Gators will play host to several teams in Gainesville tonight. Let's get right over to WUFT's Josh Stevens live in the studio with a preview of the matchups.
Today is a huge day on campus as 2 Gator teams are in action today. Women's basketball looks to avenge a 10-point loss to Alabama at the O-Dome, while softball kicks off their season against North Florida. The Gators will look to build momentum on a 108-78 drubbing of Arkansas that ended a previous 4-game skid. A potential win against Alabama tonight at 7 would be the Gators' first since 2022. Coach Tim Wallen will look to have his preseason #1 squad ready to live up to their lofty expectations when they take on UNF at Presley Stadium. Taking the circle will be sophomore sensation Keegan Rothrock tonight at 6. 2 wins tonight will set the tone on campus for an action-packed weekend that sees the #6 Florida men's basketball travel to take on #1 Auburn. Live from WFT News, I'm Josh Stevens.
Let's take a look at the mid-dot traffic cam from our DOT traffic cam over Paynes Prairie. Traffic looks to be flowing well in both directions of I-75 at this hour, and it seems the clear skies will be continuing, at least for the moment. Let's get back to Jadyn Bottini to see if the pleasant weather will continue into the weekend.
That's right. Our skies are looking clear, and those clear skies will continue into the weeks to come. 81 degrees right now, and light winds about 10 miles per hour from the west. Looking at our temperatures, 79 in Gainesville, 79 in Palatka, 80 in Ocala, 79 in the Villages, and this evening we will be warming up to 80 degrees in most places, 81 in Gainesville, 83 in Ocala, 83 in the Villages, with some light winds about 6 miles per hour. Looking at our satellite, not much to see here, not even much cloud cover over Florida right now. Sunny skies keeping our temperatures warm, but we are looking at some record warm temperatures in the south. Our subtropical jet stream is keeping that warm air in the south and that cold air out to the north. That polar jet stream in the north is keeping the cold air there and warm air out. Very record temperatures for both areas right now, warm and cold. Looking at our satellite, we're tracking a storm as it heads east, causing lots of precipitation near Virginia and Washington, D.C., but pretty clear in our area. We won't be feeling effects from this. And as we take a look at our futurecast, this will head off the east coast by tomorrow morning with another system following it, but again, we will not be feeling the effects from this, possibly some effects next week after Valentine's Day. Looking at the evening ahead, 75 degrees at 6 p.m. by 10 p.m. in the low 60s. Midnight will begin to lower into the 50s and that patchy fog will form. We can expect some dense fog tomorrow morning. Our visibility dropping down to less than 1 mile by 2 a.m., but it will clear up by 10 a.m. and begin improving in most locations. Taking a look at this weekend, highs of 82 both days, sunny skies, a great weekend to go outside and enjoy the warmer weather. Taking a look at our 7-day outlook, remaining in the 80s this week. Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, we can expect some dense fog in the morning. Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, though, it should be cleared. 83 degrees highs for those 3 days, and by Thursday, up to 86 sunny skies.
Lung cancer is the leading cause of cancer deaths, but early detection can save lives. However, experts say many of those eligible for screening often don't get tested. Mandy Gaither explains who should be screened and talks to a lung cancer survivor about why she says a billboard saved her life.
For months, Denise Lee passed a billboard that caught her eye. It said, "Saved by the Scan," advocating for people to be screened for lung cancer.
I smoked for 40 years, and so I consider myself high risk.
Lee says she didn't know about low-dose CT scans, a simple x-ray that takes multiple pictures of the lungs with little radiation. It takes only a few minutes, and there's no pain. After advocating for herself at the doctor, she was screened.
My primary care physician called me, and she said, yeah, they found a spot. Actually a tumor.
It was cancer, but Lee says because of the screening, the disease was caught early before it spread.
I always say that the billboard saved my life because literally that's what happened.
The American Lung Association says low-dose CT scans can reduce the lung cancer death rate by up to 20%, but only about 16% of those eligible for it in 2022 actually got tested. Anyone between the ages of 50 and 80 who smokes now or has quit within the past 15 years and has a 20-pack year or more smoking history should be screened.
You multiply the number of packs per year by the number of years you smoke. So 1 pack per day times 20 years is 20 pack years.
Dr. Bobby Mahajan says in recent years, the 5-year lung cancer survival rate has improved, but the earlier the disease is detected, the chances of survival significantly increase.
Lung cancer screening is effective and it can save lives.
For Health Minute, I'm Mandy Gaither.
Anyone interested in seeing if they qualify for a low-dose CT scan can take an eligibility quiz by visiting the American Lung Cancer Association's website at savedbythescan.org.
The NFL announced Wednesday it is going to the Land Down Under next year as the league travels to Australia. This game will be the first NFL game to take place in Australia, with the Los Angeles Rams being designated as the home team. The game will be played at the iconic Melbourne Cricket Ground. The Rams' opponent, as well as the date, have not yet been announced. In a statement, Commissioner Roger Goodell called the expansion to Australia a significant step in expanding the league's international footprint. Sticking with the NFL, ad prices are up while ticket prices are down for this year's Super Bowl, which is just days away. And the groceries essential to a Super Bowl spread are a mixed bag. Karen Kaffa is in Washington to break down the numbers around Sunday's big game.
With the price tag of some Super Bowl ads at $8 million for 30 seconds, Donna Werdelich, a professor of marketing at Virginia Tech, says advertisers still see the steep price of admission as worth it.
Why? Because now it's a little bit more of a show, right? There's a couple of more components that are really involved now, such as the Taylor Swift effect.
Taylor Swift's presence as she roots for Chiefs star Travis Kelce, broadening the game day audience and the opportunities for brands like Dove Spot encouraging girls in sports and Haagen-Dazs.
What happened to Fast Life? Not today.
With Vin Diesel showing a softer side.
Memorable marketing moments and really bringing and engaging the country in and really trying to bring it back to this is one of the staples of America.
Watching at home means eating at home. The National Retail Federation says Americans will spend about $18.6 billion on game day celebrations, with most consumers buying food and beverages. Wells Fargo found some game day favorites more costly this year and others a little less.
We're seeing what we're calling kind of a seesaw effect out in the grocery store.
Items pricier than last year include raw chicken wings up 7%, avocados and cherry tomatoes both up more than 11%, with the domestic supply of tomatoes crunched after Florida hurricanes.
Consumers are going to be paying more, not only due to popularity, but also because they are being imported.
Frozen pizzas, chips, and salsa among items trending cheaper than last year. In Washington, I'm Karen Kaffa.
Cheaper ticket sales also point to more fans watching the game at home. As of Monday, ticket reseller TickPick found prices more than 50% lower than last year's Super Bowl. Now let's head over to our Noticias partner for a look at today's top stories for our Spanish language audience.
Con tus noticias en 90 segundos. El presidente Trump está considerando firmar una orden ejecutiva para disolver el Departamento de Educación. La eliminación del Departamento de Educación ha sido una meta a largo plazo para el Partido Republicano. Trump asegura que quiere terminar algunos sectores del departamento y reorganizar otros. El Congreso está a cargo del departamento y sus fondos. Por lo tanto, la orden ejecutiva no podría tener un efecto inmediato. Trump recortó de los gastos del departamento y ha puesto presión a los trabajadores para renunciar. Panamá niega la declaración del Departamento de Estado sobre los barcos que pasan por el famoso canal. El Departamento de Estado publicó en la plataforma X una imagen de un buque entrando al canal, proclamando ahorrar millones de dólares al año. Los Estados Unidos pagó un total de $25.4 millones durante los últimos 26 años. Panamá rechazó la declaración días después de que el presidente Trump reafirmara su promesa de reformar el control sobre el canal. El secretario de Estado Marco Rubio visitó al presidente de Panamá, Raúl Mulino, quien dijo que la soberanía del canal no está en debate. Se espera una llamada entre los dos mandatarios el día de mañana. Presidente Trump firmó una orden ejecutiva para la eliminación de programas de diversidad, equidad, inclusión y accesibilidad en la fuerza laboral. Esta decisión tiene como resultado que todas las actividades de EI requeridas en contratos deben cesar inmediatamente. Cualquier contrato o beca que utilice o promueva el uso de estos principios violará las leyes federales contra la discriminación. La Universidad de Florida se pronunció al respecto, asegurando que si recibes una orden de suspensión de trabajo o un aviso de determinación, debes cumplirla inmediatamente. Esas fueran tus noticias en 90 segundos. Gracias por sintonizarnos.
Now let's get over to WUFT First at 5 anchor Alex Land with a look at what's coming up on First at 5 on Channel 5.
Thanks, Ciara. We're following 3 top stories for you tonight. First, Marion County is considering a dog ordinance. Some people say it goes too far, others say not far enough. And local law enforcement offices are celebrating Black History Month. How the first African Americans to join these agencies are being honored. And Alachua County Sheriff's Office is looking for your help solving a cold case. How you can help with this murder investigation. That's all for your First at 5 preview. I'm Alex Land. See you tonight.
Before we go, one last check on the weather.
Staying in the 80s all week, sunny skies, expecting some fog through the weekend, but staying sunny for the rest of the week.
Thanks for joining us for WUFT Midday. We're back here tomorrow for another edition.
We will see you later today for First at 5 on Channel 5. Have a great afternoon.